Hello and welcome to Mitv Primetime News. I am Teresa Adeyemi. Vice President Kashim Shettima has said that it's wrong to insinuate that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has neglected the northern region, which is said has no business with poverty, as Almighty Allah has blessed the region with everything. Shettima spoke in an interview with the Radio France RFI Hausa service in Kaduna on Sunday, commenting on the protest. He said democracy has given a citizen right to voice his grievances, but in a peaceful manner. On the problems debilitating the north and whether the government has anything in store for the region, the vice president stated that the government has good intention to help the people in the north. The vice president explained that he was using his office to ensure that northerners were treated fairly, adding that soon a meeting with the northern governors, wealthy northerners, politicians and other stakeholders irrespective of religion or tribe will be convened to find a way out of the economic and security problems debilitating the north. I pointed out that President Bola Tinubu established the Ministry of Livestock for the development of the sector in the north and approved the establishment of the Northwest Development Commission for the uplifting of the Northwest Zone. Reacting to the allegation that the Tinubu administration was more concerned about the south than the north, the vice president said to his understanding it was politicians who were saying such, pointing out that out of 46 ministers, 24 were from the north. Minister of Creative Economy Annatu Musa Musawa has stressed the need for government to take Nigeria's art and culture to a great height by promoting natural heritage and values. Musawa made the indication on Tuesday at the inauguration of the Technical Committee to oversee the establishment of King Jaja of Okwobo Cultural and Historical Center in Okwobo, River State. She said the project is considered key in the preservation of Nigeria's culture and heritage. Correspondent Linda Ike reports that Musawa added that the history of Nigeria cannot be complete without adding King Jaja of Okwobo, one of Nigeria's great past heroes, member representing Adoni Okwobo Nkoro Federal Constituency of River State in the House of Representatives. Awaji Nombek Abiante appreciated the federal government for the concrete step to immortalize King Jaja of Okwobo, highlighting the gains of the project to Nigerians. King Dandesu Douglas Jaja V Amayanabo of Okwobo said the center, when established, will not just be for the people of Okwobo or River State, but the country at large to know the legacies left behind for generations unborn.
Immortalizing him and allowing the next generation to understand the strides that he has made, the values, the traditions, the culture, that he has been able to impart, I think will really make Nigeria more fortified as a country. Again, sir, I really am honored to even be in the presence of such royalty, and I thank you and all your people, and I want you to know that for me, everything that needs to be done to ensure that Nigerians and the international community know of the legacy of this great man, I'm ready to do everything. So I thank you, and we look forward to teaching Nigeria.
Exposure to appreciation, immortalizing, in terms of developing our culture, our tradition, even in terms of research and studies, in terms of letting the world know exactly who we are, bonding us together as a people. It will also create jobs. Is it in the area of tourism? A lot. It will open up that environment. It will open it up. So a lot. We expect a lot to achieve, a lot to gain. It will be right for us to begin to think that axis, the Opobo axis, will now become the hub of tourism in River State and even in the south, if we harness the things that are there properly. We have the aquatic splendor, they're just behind the ocean. We have a neighboring local government area, Andoni, that has elephants. It
is not only Opobo that has not only bad for poor people. It is for the generality of the country and the world. To immortalize King Jaja, in this way, is to leave a legacy behind for generations unborn. To know that these people fought, for the defense of this country, and for them to inculcate in them the spirit of, patriotism, to defend this country and make sure that the future of this country is brighter.
Some members of the House of Representatives have condemned the calls for the removal of the Group Chief Executive Officers of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kyari, and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed. The lawmakers, which consist of about 50, made this known while addressing newsmen in Abuja. They said the House had mandated a joint committee on midstream and downstream petroleum to investigate the pertinent issues in the oil and gas sector, which a final decision is yet to be reached. Leader of the group, Billy Osawari, said it is in the parliamentary culture to afford parties for investigating and the right to a fair hearing. Correspondent Linda Ike reports that they are however kicked against the call for the removal of anyone while the investigation is pending. They also expressed concern over the nationwide protest, appealing to Nigerian youth to end the protest.
We wish to state that it is in the parliamentary culture to afford parties in investigation the right for fair hearing. Therefore, the call for removal of anyone while investigation is pending is premature. We therefore call on all Nigerians to be patient and law-abiding in the expectation of a better Nigeria. Having observed the nationwide protest, we commend the youths and Nigerians in general for the manner they have conducted themselves. We appeal for calm while imploring all Nigerians to bring the protest to an end.
In another development, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has called for caution on the part of the federal government over ongoing public argument between the Dangote refinery and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission over crude supply to the refinery. In a series of posts on his X handle on Saturday, Atiku urged the federal government to ensure the success of the 650,000 capacity refinery. He stated that he was cautious in considering any deliberate attempt to impede the progress of the Dangote refinery, a significant private sector project positioned to meet the country's energy and forex needs. Atiku called on all Nigerians to take resolute actions to provide reassurance that both internal and external forces were not collaborating to prevent the nation from reaping the benefit promised by the eagerly anticipated transformative endeavor. The crude crisis rocking the Dangote oil refinery took a new turn on Friday after the Dangote group accused the NUPLC of failing to effectively enforce the domestic crude supply obligations. Reacting, the NUPLC said that it facilitated the supply of over 29 million barrels of crude oil to Dangote from January to June 2024. Dangote refinery, however, said it did not receive any 29 MB of crude. In the meantime, Action Aid Nigeria has urged the federal government to urgently reinstate the fuel subsidy to alleviate the economic challenges faced by low-income households and small businesses. The immediate past vice chairman of the organization board, Mark Amarere, made this appeal during a press briefing in Abuja, where he emphasized the need for the government to prioritize the rehabilitation of the country refineries, ensuring they operate efficiently. Amarere also highlighted the importance of strengthening monetary policies to stabilize the naira and control inflation while protecting the most vulnerable segment of society from adverse effects. He recommended measures such as increasing foreign exchange reserves, promoting export, encouraging foreign investment, and boosting local production to reduce dependence on imports. Additionally, Amarere advised both the federal and state government to implement targeted social safety net and subsidies to shield the poorest populations from the severe impact of rising inflation.
The federal and state governments must urgently implement targeted social safety programs and subsidies to protect the most vulnerable populations from the devastating effects of inflation. This includes reinstating fuel subsidies to ease economic burdens on low-income households and small businesses. Grants and low-interest loans for the SMEs must be prioritized to enable their expansion and survival.
Was the launch, no, this week actually, a few days ago, was the launch of ActionAid's new country strategy paper. It's a 10-year strategy, and in it, it espouses the direction that we want to go over the next 10 years, what we want to achieve. Overarching thing is to ensure that we're able to contribute to lifting 5 million people out of poverty. And we're going to do that through the work that we do, through the partnerships we form that are mutually beneficial, through different programs that we run. And within that, we're also looking at our strategic objectives. But the overarching theme is lifting people out of poverty, and it's in keeping with what we stand for.
Dream, the vision of the board, which is led by the board chair, and of course the General Assembly, which is led by the convener. So like the board chair has said, our role is to ensure that, I've set a target, 5 million. So technically, we are setting 5%. The last figure we have from government is 100 million. So government says in 10 years, they want to get 100 million persons out of poverty. So ActionAid is saying that in 10 years, we want to contribute to getting 5 million persons out of poverty. So technically, if you have 20 organizations doing what ActionAid is doing, we will definitely eradicate poverty. We'll definitely eradicate poverty or get 100 million persons out of poverty